I'm calling this December 10th meeting of the Riverside Township Board of Trustees to order. Please rise. And Trustee Dropko, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk Blount, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Present.
Trustee Dropko?
Present and accounted for.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Present.
Supervisor Wilt?
Present.
Let the record note, Trustee Lupfer is not in attendance and Clerk Blau is.
I know that Trustee Lupfer was flying back from Florida this afternoon, and he was hoping to be here on time. Don't know how his flight went. So, onward, we have before us the minutes of the November 5th Committee of the Whole meeting. What is your pleasure?
Well, I make a motion to approve them.
The motion by Trustee Clark. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Heilenbach. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yes. On page 2, the band upstairs should be $1,500 and not $1,550. And then if you go down under section 2 where it says community service events to highlight township programs, first week in May, distribution of sunflower and ragweed seeds. That should be milkweed.
Oh, I think ragweed was what was said, though.
Yes, ragweed was what I did say because
Tom immediately started sniffling.
sneezing. Yeah, that's what and that is my mistake. I'll probably refer it as ragweed for the rest of the time, but just know it's milkweed.
Milkweed, okay.
And so on page 3, this same thing. With the first dot, a person to compile board members' ideas and come up with an event plan. I'm not sure where that came from, and because if it's supposed to be part of.
It's supposed to be part of the last one on page 2. It's
It
not a
is.
new
So
bullet
just
point.
erase the
Okay,
The bullet
all
point
right.
should be omitted.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes that automatic formatting gets you.
Yeah, that's what.
Page change.
That's all I have.
That's it? Are there any?
Under the book 3 bands for entertainment on page 2,
Yes.
the Blues Brothers, BLOOZE.
Oh, they're spelled, yes.
And then on page 1, the first bullet point, and then sub-bullet points under the first one, number 1, 2, the third one down, picture of Riverside Township Board. I think we can strike the verbiage after that, just for the sake of that.
Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing, I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole from November 5th, and a second, and several corrections. So the action would be to approve the minutes as corrected here. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next is the minutes of the November 19th Board of Trustees meeting. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the November 19th, 2019 meeting.
I have a motion by Trustee Heilenbach.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Clark. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. On to communications.
We received a thank you note from the Golden Acres of North Riverside, thanking us for the generous grant and of $5,000.
You should have all also found an invitation to their party in your mailboxes.
Yes.
Anything else?
No. That concludes.
Thank you very much. We have no visitors, so therefore no visitors' remarks. A couple of notes from me as supervisor. Last week, I had the honor of speaking to the Indian Princess group that we have supported. Trustee Lupfer was supposed to do so, and then he had to leave town kind of last minute. So I was there, was very pleased to be there as the fathers with their daughters were giving thanks for many things in the spirit of the time of year. And then they also, I was able to speak to them about the food pantry and the other services of the township. And they were very attentive, even though they had not been as attentive when they were going through all the thanks. The girls were all very good. And they had all brought donations for the food pantry. So much so that I barely fit it all into my car. Wow. So they were very generous. So big thank you goes out to the Indian Princesses. It was a very pleasant evening. The holiday stroll last Friday brought a lot of people into the building. I wish we had had an elevator, and we're working on that. I'll mention that under the rest of the agenda. But I just put out some candy and some of the toys that we've given out over the past years, which all went very quickly. But there was a nice crowd for all the programs. It was a pretty pleasant evening, so I think that that was nice. And actually, we had sponsored the magician as well as some face painting, and that came in under the budget that we had actually approved as part of our programs. The Thanksgiving dinners, I don't know what's going on, but people apparently weren't as hungry as usual. We did purchase 42 Thanksgiving or turkey dinners based on previous year's experience, and only 28 were picked up by the food pantry recipients. So we still have 14 left, and as people are coming in this month, if they didn't get a turkey dinner, we're still, offering that, as well as the gift cards that we discussed at our last meeting. I purchased 20 so far, as I've said that those always are a little bit less participatory, and also a very nice gift box of cookies. So we've started giving out a few of those. Other than that, I don't have anything that isn't otherwise on the agenda, but if you have any questions, I did participate with the Mental Health Board leadership in some interviews, and I'm sure that you'll hear a little bit about that in the Mental Health Board report, but otherwise, we've just been keeping things going.
So
Any
what's
questions?
the status on the time capsule?
Time capsule, I haven't heard from, and I was reserving that because there is a item on the agenda for the anniversary celebrations. I haven't heard back from the stonemason, so I'm sure that they've been busy with bigger projects, and this is a small thing. Nothing will happen if it doesn't get sealed up quickly, and I don't know what the weather is going to be. So I haven't heard back from him. I've reached out a couple of times, and they have not come around. As soon as that happens, as soon as I have a date, we'll seal that all up, because I want to make sure that it will fit. It does need that little bit of shaving in the void. Okay. All right, then let's move on. Are there any trustees' reports? Trustee Clark?
Senior exercise class is going very well. We had our holiday luncheon today at the golf club. Jerry Owen was our entertainment. and I think a good time was had by all. It was very pleasant. We'll be doing our usual second Wednesday of the month luncheon tomorrow after exercise class. And our event for next quarter in March will be the band switchback.
Nice. Very good. Anything, Trustee Drapka?
No report.
Very good, thank you. And Trustee Hollenbach.
Good evening. The Mental Health Board is conducting its search for a consultant. I want to thank Supervisor Wilt for sitting in on the interviews. We had 2 candidates. We will be discussing the candidates. Both of them had great qualifications. Both of them can do the job. It's just who the interviewers liked as best, and we will be discussing that tomorrow. So I'll have more for you. We had our mental health board meeting early, so I gave you that report. So I have nothing further for a change. Sorry.
Very good, thank you. And on to unfinished business. So you have the proposed levy that I hope we can approve tonight. As I mentioned last month, I did not ask for an increase for the general assistance levy, and both of the mental health and all other township funds other than the general assistance are being increased by 1.9, which is equal to the CPI. And
I think the mental health one was 1.7, if I'm not mistaken,
is it
Supervisor.
1.7 or
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
1.9? Then it's all 1.7. I'm sorry. I think it's probably in last month's minutes as to what that was that we were going for. Yes, 1.7. It was according to the CPI. So it's a very modest increase, only cost of living. And the one thing, this being my third cycle on this, I'm finally getting a handle on it. What I've realized is that if you try to compare the numbers as they are here, they're much smaller than the budget. We actually rely on the fact that we do have some reserves in our budget. So these do not compare. There were a couple of items that are no longer, actually, this is a wrong, you got a wrong copy here.
Yeah, we thought so.
Yep, because I had struck the health officer. Yep, there were a couple of items, I don't know, it got printed wrong. So the one that you were, did I not forward it to you electronically? The final one?
I believe you did.
I think I did send it to all of you electronically. These are not, this is not the total.
I did not get anything.
You did not.
I didn't get this electronically.
It would have been, yeah, because we made some corrections last week. So, yeah, I apologize. We may need to recess so that I can print out the right one for you.
I move that we take a 10-minute recess.
Okay,
I'll second it.
thank you. Okay. Thank you for that interruption. I apologize. Don't know what happened there. So we have the corrected version before you. Are there any questions? So once again, there were a couple of minor corrections, minor changes that I made. These numbers don't reflect what we're actually paying in salaries and so forth, but they are in the same vein in terms of the distribution and the proportions, I suppose. But these are based on numbers I'm seeing that are more than 25 years old in some cases, I think. But bottom line is that we don't want to tax any more than we need to, and so the total levy would be $1,288,919.
Dear, I just have a question under personnel
Yes,
services. You struck the salary of the health officer.
yes, and I moved that amount to the office
First-
staff because that's
Okay.
closer.
Okay, all right, that's just.
Yeah, I just moved the number over there.
Okay,
You can see that none of the others actually match what the budget indicates, but there's no sense in putting in the actual numbers when we're not levying for that amount. That would be a huge amount.
okay.
The other change that I made from the preliminary copy that you would have seen is that under general assistance, which we are not increasing, but in general, the emergency assistance is higher than it had been. So near the bottom of page 4, under commodities, the flat grants, I've moved more over to the emergency assistance, just so that's somewhat reflective proportionately. It's still, that's actually a larger number than we need, so. But we never know what could happen. So do you have any other questions about that? And if not, I would entertain a motion to approve the levy as I indicated for 1.288 at $919. And that would also, then we would file the truth in taxation certificate of compliance stating that we did not exceed a 5% increase over the prior year's extension.
I make a move to accept the annual town tax levy for 2019 and 20.
Thank you. I have
Yes,
a
2000.
motion by trustee Clark. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by trustee Drapka to approve the annual town tax levy for 2019.
Do we need to put in there plus the certificate of truth and taxation, or is that just?
That's
automatic?
just a statement that I make.
Okay.
It's there for your information that we haven't had to have hearings or anything like that because we are not exceeding that, that threshold, correct. All right, any other discussion? If not, we have a motion to accept the levy. And since we're looking at numbers here, would Clerk Wow please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. On to the town hall elevator repair. More information from me that, of what's going on with it. So Cowley Elevator is coming in tomorrow to assess the possibility of getting the elevator up and running on a temporary basis. I reached out to them a few times. They were reluctant because our agreement, our regular maintenance agreement, is with another company, and they normally don't tread on each other. But since the other company is the one that recommended them, they gave me a proposal on an hourly basis to come out and see if they could get it running to and in compliance with the village's requirements. Therefore, I can't make any promises, but I'm hoping they're a company that deals with a lot of older elevators. So I'm hopeful that we can at least get it in service because this is ridiculous. And also, as of this week, we have put out the invitation for bids for the full modernization. That has gone into both the Life and the Landmark. It will be published this week, and it will be posted on our bulletin board. It will be on our website, and those companies that we are familiar with have also been notified that that is an available The bids are to be back by Monday, the 30th of December at noon, to be opened at 1 PM that day. I'm hoping that that's exactly, that we will be able to put it in service. I don't hold out any promises. And once we have the bids, we're still looking at the total modernization would probably be early spring.
Okay, so on the info that we have in our packets, is that to repair it and to get it up and running?
That is to evaluate and possibly get it up and running. So that's what you have in your packets actually also in, that was the first page that you have, the November 22nd one. So that is to try to get it running. And then the other ones are the general proposals that we had received previously based on the inspection form.
Okay.
And quite frankly, both of those did a relatively cursory evaluation. The one that, when they're coming out tomorrow, they are going to have the actual mechanics present and hopefully some engineering. And of course, the big proposals that would come based on the invitation to bid will have a lot more of the technical. We've invited them within that to, fully inspect. So this one pager is just for the temporary fix.
Right, but this other one from Collie and the other one from...
Yes, those were ballpark figures
Okay, so
previously.
is that considered their bid, or?
No, it's not, no.
Okay, so they have to bid on it.
They have to bid on it, exactly.
We're just looking at ballpark
Right,
figures.
these were ballpark figures, so now that's what we've opened up the bid process. The law firm has drafted the invitation to bid for
Okay,
us, and
very
that is being published, and we'll go from there.
So tomorrow the mechanic's coming out at $203 per hour.
Right,
To see if we can replace.
see what we can do to
See if
get
we
it
can
running
get it
in
up
the
and running
meantime.
maybe,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
exactly what we need,
All
so.
right, I would love to put the bids on the committee of the whole agenda so that we can talk about it at the committee of the whole meeting and hash it all out and ask all the questions at
Okay.
that meeting. So that we don't have to sit here on our township meeting and get into everything.
Should we invite the people who submitted the bids to come to our committee of the whole meeting?
We could do that, because the bids will have
Unless-
been opened on the 30th.
You know what, I don't wanna waste anybody's time, so, maybe if, you can get all the information from everything possible, if you feel it necessary, Supervisor, that you'd feel it, if they could come and answer the questions, but if you feel like you asked all the questions, got all the information, you're the expert on all this stuff, then I don't think that it's necessary for them to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think if they know it's gonna be discussed, they'll wanna have a representative.
Right, and the other thing is though, if they don't, it's a bid to replace it. So, the only thing that I would be concerned about with the replacement on it is what kind of guarantees do we have?
Right.
I want to make sure the parts aren't going to be obsolete in 10 years.
Right.
Stuff like that, stuff that can be handled by
Exactly.
Supervisor Wilt. so.
Yeah, and if as supervisor, you feel comfortable getting all that information that you feel is necessary that we might ask or whatever, that, then I think we're good. And then if we don't, if we have some questions that can't be answered, then you have the week to get those answers, then we can come back, boom, make a decision and be done with
And
this.
on our way. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Okay.
All right, I will put that on the committee of the whole agenda for the first, I think it's the 7th that we
It's the
actually made it.
7th, yeah.
I think it's the 7th of January.
Yes, I believe it is the 7th.
Yes.
Very good. So it shall be. Okay. And planning for the 150th anniversary, we really haven't had a committee of the whole meeting since our last board meeting. The only thing was I was going to indicate that the stonemason has not come out yet. I'm sure that weather is a consideration for them, but there's nothing key to that stone that, you know, will cause any problems. And I think I shared with all of you that the video of the rededication event
Right.
is available. So, and
Yeah, I got that email.
there's a link from our website and all as well now. Okay. Any other questions about any of that?
What are the available Saturdays for future events in our packet?
That
Is that
was
just an
because
FYI?
if we discussed, if we wanted to zero in on the events that would take place within the auditorium, the speakers, I didn't know if you would have any information on that.
Tim, you know, we were talking about doing your mental health speaker on February 8th,
That's correct.
which is the week after Super Bowl.
So you want us to lock that one in?
Lock
for you?
that in, yes.
For a mental health speaker.
And are we renting out the room on holiday weekends?
No, we've turned down both Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve. Just, it's really hard to have any staffing for that. I understand if a family wanted to do the weekend after or something,
Right, yeah.
that would be great, but I can't guarantee, you know. I think that police and fire are overworked on those days as well. And I'm not, you know, then, once you open that up, it was an executive decision that we said
Oh,
no.
I think it's a great decision. I'm just saying maybe we should take out April 11th, being
Oh.
the, you know, Easter weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be a bad time to do it anyway, but,
That's what, and, well, right. I mean,
these were just the dates. We just wanted to list for you what dates there is nothing going on in the auditorium, in terms of Saturdays, so that we can work around that.
And then are we still thinking about the mob guy for a second
Well,
speaker?
Vera sent us that
Yeah.
article about, he was just in North Riverside.
Right, so should we find somebody else?
I think we'll have to find something else, and that's something that we can think about, you know,
So if,
for our next meeting.
yeah, if you want to, you know, kind of focus on, these are the dates that are currently available, so let us know if you come up with another speaker that you'd like to see come out. Okay?
Yeah, I think if we do another one, it probably should be like on the March 14th
Okay,
date. If we can get somebody then.
okay, we can put a hold on that. Very good. Anything else? While we're talking about the anniversary planning. I had no new business for tonight, so there's nothing on the agenda. And then information is there simply on our regular website reporting. We meet with our representative each month and go over how we're tracking. We are starting to be at the top of certain searches.
The thing I noticed on the report, under the most, I'm on page 5 of this.
Okay.
The most hits on that was registering to vote.
I'm sorry, it was which?
On page 5,
Yes?
under organic ranking for
Uh-huh.
targeted terms.
Uh-huh.
I noticed the most hits, if I'm reading this correctly, was number 17, Riverside Register to Vote.
Well, I see Riverside Assessor's Office
The
at
assessor's
plus 53,
Oh,
59.
on page 5?
yes, third from the bottom.
Oh, 59.
Oh, on the
Riverside
property.
Property tax.
Well, the difference, these are what's gone up. So the difference, how we've increased, where we've gone position-wise, up or down, and then what the actual numeric difference is from one to the other. If you can see how that works, the November 1st versus November 30th columns, and then the difference is the increase. So the register to vote, I think that as elections approach, you
Right.
know, I think just the awareness is there. This is a time of year when a lot of new residents are here, they're getting
There you go.
acclimated. We have people walk in all the time looking for, where do they get their dog license or their,
Yeah.
vehicle sticker. And I think it's just a seasonal thing, that's why there were so many
Well,
links to that.
Can they register to vote in the township office?
Yes, they can,
They can, okay.
yes.
Maybe that could be kind of part of our 150th celebration, maybe to highlight, you can register to vote in our office. Or if we were at an event somewhere,
Okay,
or have a table for them to register to vote.
Well, as that time is coming up, there's going to be,
Primary is March 17th.
yeah, the primary, yeah, but at our 150th, that's going to be in September.
Right.
And that's a time when we have many seniors and so on and so forth. I think we should absentee balloting, which we have available to our township residents, that we can help them out with that absentee balloting. So I think that would be something for the people that are,
it might be good if we could even get somebody from the county offices to be there
there you go.
to
Right,
answer
at
questions.
our community thing, have a thing, they can register people to vote or help them with absentee.
Right.
That would be good. Very good. Any other questions on that? I don't know that I can always explain it, but you get as much information as I do. I just hear it from the consultant. All right. So we are up to approval of warrants then?
Just,
And- Yes.
When I was going through these warrants, what, on the utility warrant, what is Windstream? Is that,
So Windstream was the phone service that we were using. We've gotten away from them on everything except the elevator, wouldn't you know it? Because that's a line that we couldn't, because it was connected
It's gotta be
to,
a dedicated line.
it had to be a dedicated line, which is fine, but they couldn't quite figure out how to change that to AT&T when we
Okay.
went to AT&T. So we still have that one that hangs in there.
okay, just,
Yeah, I think that that's something that we might be able to address when we modernize the elevator, but right now, the alarm, it's tied to the alarm.
okay, just was wondering what that was.
Sure. That used to be a bigger bill, but we brought that down.
Okay, are we ready for me?
We're ready for warrants.
I move that we authorize and ratify the payment of the bills identified on the general warrant for December 2019 in the amount of $18,441.19.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the general warrant for December 2019 in the amount of $18,441.19. Clerk Blau, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Hollenbach,
Yes.
Trustee Drapka,
Yes.
Trustee Clark,
Yes,
Supervisor Wilt,
Yes.
motion is carried.
okay. I move that the board ratify and authorize payment of the amounts indicated on the following warrants. Utility warrant, $1,651.92. Payroll warrant, $12,914.11. Health warrant, $1,693.58. Grants, $12,000. General assistance warrant of $1,200. Township radio players, $200. Food pantry, $736.12.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Drapka, to approve the following warrants and pay those bills as follows. Utility warrant in the amount of $1,651.92. Payroll warrant, $12,914.11. Health warrant, $1,693.58. Grants warrant, $12,000. General assistance warrant, $1,200. Township radio players, $200. And the food pantry, $736.12. Clerk Blau, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbeck?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you very much. There being no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn this beautiful meeting.
Second.
Second it.
Motion
Tim,
and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to everyone.